Chapter 1. The moment. Everything changed. I was just trying to grab my hairbrush. That's all. I wasn't expecting to have my entire world flipped upside down. The bathroom door was cracked open, steam curling into the hallway like some dramatic movie effect. Water dripped into the sink, the soft sound echoing through the tiles. I hesitated, teeth sinking into my lip. I'd left my brush in there last night, and I needed it before Dad and Ryan's mom dragged us to brunch at the country club, another forced family bonding activity in their 3-year campaign to make us feel like a real family. Because nothing says we're a happy family like overpriced eggs, and my stepmother Diane's passive-aggressive comments about my wardrobe choices. Have you considered something that doesn't make you look like you raided a thrift store dumpster, sweetheart? She'd ask, while sipping her mimosa with her pinky extended like she was dining with the queen. I knocked lightly. Ryan, I just need my brush. Silence. That should have been my warning, but I pushed the door open anyway, stepping inside before the steam could make me second-guess myself. And then I froze. Ryan stood in front of the mirror, a towel slung low on his hips, head tilted back as he ran a hand through his wet hair. His skin was still damp, water dripping down the hard lines of his chest, trailing along muscle I had no business looking at. I should have turned around. I should have left. But I didn't. My brain short-circuited, completely betraying me. So much for all those AP classes. In this critical moment, my supposedly high-functioning brain decided to revert to the intellectual capacity of a starstruck 12-year-old at a boy band concert. Dear Harvard admissions, please disregard my application. I can no longer form complete sentences at the sight of abs. Water glistened against his skin, sliding down his stomach in slow, lazy drops. His fingers raked through his hair again, pushing it back, his jaw tightening as he exhaled. The rise and fall of his chest felt too close, too much, like I was seeing something I shouldn't. The bathroom smelled like his stupidly expensive sandalwood body wash, the one I'd secretly sprayed on my pillow once when I was sick, and he'd been surprisingly nice to me. My stomach flipped. My face burned. Oh my God. And then his reflection caught mine. Ryan blinked once, then turned, brows furrowing. Lena, what the hell? Panic slammed into me like a car crash. My lungs forgot how to work. My brain scrambled to form a single coherent thought, but all that came out was, I stepped back too fast, my heel catching on the slick tile. My heart lunged into my throat as my back hit the door just as it swung shut. Hard. The loud thud knocked the breath out of me. I gasped, heat crawling up my spine, humiliation clawing at my throat. Ryan took a step forward. Not on purpose, not dramatically, just a small shift, but it shrunk the space between us, and suddenly, everything felt different. His towel, his bare skin, the steam curling around us. Too close, too warm, too real. Please, universe, if you're listening, I promise I'll do all the dishes for a month and stop using Diane's fancy face cream if you'll just open up a black hole under my feet right now. My heart trying to claw its way out of my chest. But him? Barely fazed, like I was still just Lena, his annoying stepsister, the girl who used to throw popcorn at him during movie nights and steal his hoodies when mine were in the wash. The 17-year-old senior who'd had to adjust to sharing her childhood home with him and his mother when our parents decided to merge lives during my awkward freshman year, back when my idea of rebellion was wearing mismatched socks, and his was coming home with a tattoo that made his mom cry for 3 days straight. Not someone who should be looking at him like this. Not someone who should be feeling like this. I remembered the time last year when I'd walked in on him clipping his toenails in the kitchen. Kitchen toenails. I'd lectured him for 20 minutes about basic hygiene and civilized behavior while he rolled his eyes and continued his disgusting podiatric maintenance. How had Mr. Gross Toenail Kitchen Guy transformed into this? My fingers finally wrenched the door handle. The wrong way first, of course, because the universe hates me, and I stumbled into the hallway like I'd just escaped a crime scene. I barely made it 2 steps before smack. I ran straight into the wall. Not just any wall, the wall with the giant family photo from Diane and Dad's wedding, where I'm immortalized with braces, a horrible perm, and a rash from the cheap polyester bridesmaid dress she made me wear. Pain shot through my forehead, and I groaned, reaching up to rub the spot, pushing my long dark hair away from my face. The picture crashed to the floor, glass cracking in a way that felt symbolic of my dignity. Behind me, Ryan let out a sharp laugh. Seriously, maybe we should get you one of those toddler helmets, the ones with the little animal ears on top. You could get a raccoon one to match those circles under your eyes. My entire body caught fire. Shut up, I mumbled, shuffling away as fast as I could, my humiliation officially record-breaking. At this rate, I'd be featured in the Guinness Book of World Records. Most mortifying moment experienced by a teenage girl. I'd have my picture next to it, face as red as a fire truck, while Ryan stood in the background looking annoyingly perfect. Then, because my day wasn't horrific enough, I tripped over our cat, Mr. Whiskers. He screeched, I yelped, and somehow I ended up doing an unintentional split in the hallway. Wow, Ryan called after me. That was almost Olympic-level gracelessness. I give it a 9.8. Oh, I didn't stop until I was safe in my room. The door slammed shut behind me, leaning against it with all my weight like I was barricading myself from a zombie apocalypse. My body felt like it was still on fire, my head spinning, my heart racing. I caught a glimpse of myself in my vanity mirror. Flushed cheeks, wide hazel eyes, hair a mess, and groaned. What was wrong with me? This was Ryan, the same Ryan who'd been a constant thorn in my side for 3 years, taking up space in our previously peaceful house with his loud music and messy habits. The same Ryan who made Dad laugh in ways I hadn't heard since Mom died. The same Ryan who'd reluctantly taught me to drive when Dad was too busy with work and Diane was too nervous, and who'd only screamed twice when I nearly drove us into the lake. "The brake is on the left!" He'd shrieked as we careened toward the water's edge, his hands white-knuckling the dashboard. "That's not helping!" I'd screamed back before slamming my foot down on what turned out to be, thankfully, the brake pedal. But now, I couldn't stop thinking about the way water had dripped down his chest, the way his voice had dropped when he told me to leave, and worst of all, the way I didn't want to. In an hour, we'd be sitting across from each other at brunch, our parents oblivious, while I tried to pretend nothing had changed. While I tried to ignore the twisting guilt in my stomach that came with looking at him differently, my best friend Katie would notice immediately. She had an uncanny radar for awkwardness. "Why are you being weird with Ryan?" She'd text under the table. "And why are you blushing? Oh, I'm Lena, no." I started hiccuping, my body's favorite stress response since kindergarten. I sounded like a dolphin with a head cold. Hic. I slid down to the floor, wondering if I could fake a sudden tropical disease to get out of brunch. Hic? "Lena, 5 minutes," Dad called from downstairs. Hic. I tried to convince myself that this was just a weird, temporary moment of insanity that would pass. Like that time I thought bucket hats looked cool, or when I went through my 2-week vegetarian phase until I realized tofu tastes like sad, wet sponges. But deep down, I knew. That was the real problem. Also, I still didn't have my hairbrush, and I had the hiccups, and possibly a concussion from the wall, and my life was officially over. Hic. To be continued.